before we get to anything else, I just want to preface this video by saying I've already tried to record this once, only to discover that my mic wasn't working, which is unfortunate. So we're running it back, and I'm just going to be playing some Meet Your Maker, while we discuss some thoughts on wanting to be a YouTuber, because a lot of people seem to want to be one, and with this being my first video, I thought this would be something interesting to talk about, because I had been talking about wanting to be a YouTuber, or at least make some YouTube videos for years now, and only now am I actually sitting down to do it. Well, technically I made a video before, but it sucked, and now that channel no longer exists. But either way, here we are, making a YouTube video, and I wanted to discuss why, not just why people want to be a YouTuber, but also just some general thoughts on it. Because I think for a lot of people anyway, being a YouTuber is essentially the dream job. You know, you get to make money by doing a hobby or some other activity that you really enjoy. At least that's what a lot of people who want to do YouTube, that's how a lot of them think about it. Which is a fair assessment, you know, there's a lot of content creators like that. And especially in the, let's say, the gaming space, for example. You know, everyone loves the idea of, oh, I get to make money playing video games, hurrah. Which, you know, that's a fair assessment. You know, nothing wrong with wanting to do something that you enjoy for your job. Now, that said, before we get to anything else, actually, you know what, let's cover some other reasons why people might want to be a YouTuber. Because sure, there's doing stuff that you would enjoy for your career. You know, because who wouldn't want to do stuff they enjoy for their career? Let's be honest. And even though it's perfectly fine to just have a job that does nothing other than pay the bills, and that's that, most people want to have a job that they genuinely either, if not enjoy, at least find some meaning and purpose to doing. Which, the second of those might actually be harder than finding a job that you just straight up enjoy. But either way, actually, who knows? But, so that's the first thing. A couple other reasons why people might want to do YouTube. Flexible hours. You know, there's always that. You get to decide what your upload schedule is. And you get to, as long as you make sure that your videos are still getting views, and you're still able to make a decent income off of them, you can basically release them whenever. If it's somewhat consistent, that's probably good. You want them to be at least relatively consistent so far as the upload schedule. Otherwise, people won't know when to come back. Shoot. This space seems to be time-consuming, but not awful. Ow! Oh, never mind. I spoke too soon. But either way, one of the other reasons, though, and this is actually why I have been considering becoming a YouTuber for so long, and that is because you see the kinds of people that become YouTubers, and you think, wow, these are really interesting people. Wouldn't it be great if I could get to a spot where I could just sit down and have a cup of tea with them or something? You know, imagine just being able to ring up one of those YouTubers that you look up to and just chat for a bit. Like, they're cool and interesting people, and, you know, you watch some of them and you're like, dang, these are some people I would like to hang out with. But oftentimes what that means and what that comes with is, if you want to hang out with these YouTubers or streamers or whatever, then you either have to know them personally first, which I'd imagine most of us don't know the big YouTubers that we'd like to hang out with personally. Or You need to get to a spot where you are big enough that you could feel comfortable collaborating with them by being on the platform yourself. And that's sort of where my thinking came from initially. That's why I wanted to start. That's why I first started thinking about being a YouTuber or a streamer. It's because I saw these people who were making videos and other content, and I thought, these are the kinds of people I'd want to spend my time around. And so those are some reasons why you might want to be a YouTuber or a streamer. But there's some other things that should be noted as well. And that is, not everyone can or should be a streamer, or a YouTuber. Because in order to do that, you have to be able to entertain, at least somewhat, while you are making content on this thing that you want to do. And I think when people first hear that they could make money by recording games, they just think, oh, so I play video games and I earn money. That sounds cool. It's like, no, it's a little more nuanced than that. Because you have to be able to record yourself playing games in a way that is also fun for other people to watch. And that takes a specific skill set. You know, you don't necessarily have to be funny, but you either need to be, if not funny, then you either have to be really good, really well informed, or find some other way to make interesting content. And you know, that's not always going to be easy for everyone to do. So that's something worth considering. And oh my gosh, I hate this so much. You know what? Screw it. I know how we're gonna deal with this. Grenade! Perfect. And yep. As I suspected. Anyhow. And not to mention, there are a lot of other interesting jobs and career paths I think a lot of other people forget about because they automatically jump to the idea of being a YouTuber. But you know, there's nothing wrong with wanting to be a YouTuber, that's for sure. But it's worth considering a lot of other opportunities as well. But likewise, there are also some people that just straight up can't find anything else. For example, if anyone has heard Ludwig's story, he was, and his words not mine, basically unemployable for a very long time. Like, no one would hire the guy. Which is strange to think about, with Ludwig being one of the biggest streamers currently in existence right now. But yeah, no, he legit could not find anything else to do, and he was able to try a lot of interesting. He was able to try a lot of new and interesting things, and because of that, he got to where he is today, which is kind of cool. Yeah. And on my list of bullet points, let's see, not everyone can or should. It just says whatever else, so I might just ramble on for the rest of this video about whatever. I think the last thing I'm going to leave with this with is, when it comes to putting out your first video, a lot of people will say, oh, your first video is probably not going to be that good. Don't worry about it. Don't sweat it. It's fine. Just enjoy the process of making a video. And as a perfectionist, that was a foreign concept to me, because, you know, you think when you think about being a YouTuber, the first thing on your mind is you want to make content that gets views. Not necessarily, I want to make content that I enjoy making. And that, interestingly enough, that mindset of views over fun, if you will. I mean, it's a little more nuanced than that. But that, likely in the long run, would lead to you getting less views, because maybe you come up with some ideas that will get a lot of views, and maybe they do. But a couple scenarios could happen. Either you could get burnt out, Or you could get discouraged because you put out a video that you thought would get a lot of views and then it doesn't. And then it kind of kills your motivation to want to make videos. And so if you're making videos that you just enjoy first and foremost, and you know, if you thought something would get a lot of views and it doesn't, who cares? You had a lot of fun making it. And as long as, of course, you're not already relying on YouTube for your revenue, then that's not a problem. But either way. And so for a long time, I was thinking that for my first video, I'd have to do something really spectacular. It wasn't just enough for it to be a video. It had to be a really good video. And even if that bar was lowered a little bit, you know, you see all these other YouTubers with all their fancy editing and whatnot, and we often forget that a lot of these bigger YouTubers have hired their editors. So they're not even doing it themselves, which probably takes a lot of stress off their back. And we frequently forget about that. You know what? Yeah, I'll give it an ingenious. Why not? Yeah, we often forget about that. And so you sit down to make your first video, and you think it's got to meet the same standards as people who have been doing this for 10 years. Which is just, one, not realistic, and secondly, you're putting a lot of unnecessary stress on yourself that way. You don't have to make your first bit of content reach that level of quality right off the bat. So yeah. Don't do what I did and wait for a year to upload your first video. Just put out something that you enjoy making. And so for this video, I just picked a topic that I thought would be interesting and fun to talk about. Played a game that I'm fairly comfortable with. And that's that. And that's probably where a lot of my videos are going to go for the most part. I might have to change some of my channel branding, because if you look at my channel, my initial idea for it was that I would go through a bunch of highly competitive or difficult games, like maybe a ranked mode for Apex for a PvP game. I've actually never played Apex yet, but I think it has a ranked mode. Yeah, no, it definitely does. So yeah, like ranked mode in Apex Legends, despite the fact that I've never played it. And see how far we can get. I've been doing it with a couple of buddies, and it'd be a lot of fun. That was the type of content I thought would get a lot of views or would be interesting to a lot of people. Things I did not consider were, one, scheduling issues, because for some of these games, it's kind of hard to get a lot of people to do it. Like, for example, I tried to record a video where a bunch of friends and myself were doing League of Legends. Getting 2 people to be scheduled at a specific time can be difficult by itself. Getting 5, now that's hard. But either way, the other thing I didn't consider was whether or not that was the kind of videos I wanted to make, because, you know, you see a lot of these videos and they require a lot of editing, and, you know, I sat down to edit a couple of videos. I'm like, you know what? I don't enjoy editing. This is not fun. At least not initially, because I think part of it might as well be that I'm just not very experienced when it comes to editing. And you know, when you're experienced, not only can you do it better, but it also goes a little bit faster as well. And when you sit down to edit like 2 hours, when you sit down to edit 2 hours worth of content, that can be fairly demoralizing. I'm going to jump into another base while we're doing this. I'm just going to do a normal one, so it's quick. Let's see. Which one of these looks interesting? I think I've done that one before. Let's do Elk Rapids. Why not? Man, you know, you sit down to edit like hours worth of footage, and it can be pretty daunting, you know, and maybe that'll take you a while to do. So that's another reason why I'd say for your first video, try something that you don't have to edit a whole lot. That way, it'll make it a little easier on yourself, and it will be, oh gosh, ew, the sound. All this is horrible. Anyway. Yeah, make something that you don't have to edit a whole lot. It'll be a lot easier on you, trust me. I I don't know what I was talking about. I got distracted by all the gunk on the walls. Blech. Alright, Harvey came from this way. I'm shocked at the fact that there's no traps yet. What? That was some interesting timing. Oh, he's got the mod that makes it so when you shoot through it, it splashes. What? Oh, shoot, dang it! Ah. Oh well. Anyway. Yeah, let's see. Choose something that you don't have to edit a whole lot. Oh gosh, this is disgusting. Where was I? Reasons why it took me a long time to put out my first video. Man. So, right, gosh, okay, so that whole tangent was basically to say, this video doesn't really fit with the initial theme I was going to go for with my channel. So expect maybe a few things about my channel to change. Or maybe they won't. Maybe I will stick with my initial idea after this first video, but we'll see. Anyhow, I'm just gonna finish this base, and then I think this video will be over, likely. This is a very strange base, by the way. Just... oh, gosh. The machinery I don't mind, but the other stuff everywhere, just ugh. Ooh. Thought that was gonna hit me. Thankfully not. I was smart, though. I was smart. Whoa! Hello. Too close for comfort. Okay, could have sworn that was going to be a holographic cube. Thank goodness it's not. Huh. Yeah, honestly, if you're thinking about doing YouTube, think about why it is you want to do it, what kind of content you'd want to make, and make sure that you actually enjoy the process of making it. Don't just... I would say start trying to make a couple of types of videos first before you start trying to figure out what you really want to do. You know, like try experimenting around with some editing. You don't even have to put out the video. Just try editing something. Try doing some commentary on something. Just try a bunch of stuff. Either before you upload, or at the very least before you start thinking about what kind of content you'd actually want to make. Because it's a better idea to figure out what kind of content you'd want to make first before you actually try to commit to something. Anyway, those are just my surface level thoughts. Again, this is my first video, so perhaps take all this with a grain of salt. But oh gosh, that frame rate drop. Yikes. But anyway, let me know if there's anything else that you'd like me to discuss, because I really enjoyed talking about all these interesting topics and whatnot. And let me know y'all's thoughts in the comments, you know? Do you want to be a YouTuber? Are you a YouTuber? What are your thoughts on making content and whatnot? Who are some content creators that you look up to? And whatnot. And perhaps if you weren't a YouTuber, what else do you think you'd want to do? For me, I don't know exactly what I want to do, but it would need to be something that has an outlet for either creativity or problem solving, and something with a relatively competitive element as well, because I am extremely competitive and a very sore loser. Which is another reason why the initial idea of trying difficult content that I'm not good at might be interesting to people. So maybe I will go back and do that. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like and subscribe for future content, and I'll see you in the next one.